What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review, excuse me, for Black Ink Crew Chicago season 6, episode 1. And y'all know I don't review Black Ink Crew, the regular Black Ink Crew New York. I used to, but I stopped. But I do enjoy Chicago, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the season. We're gonna see how this season goes because Van was actually one of my favorites, and well, Van done disappeared, honey. And it sounded like that was some real stuff that went down with Van because if you saw some of those interviews, the press tour that they were going on, honey, Ryan does not see it for Van right now, so I don't know what's going on. But we see this new season starting off, and they have a new intro. So, and they using 4 songs, Shot Town. Shouts out to 4. I ain't mad at you, boo. You better parlay them coins. You better get them. You better make them. You better keep them. So this season we have a couple of things that's going down. And we know at the end of last year, Charmaine, Van, Lily, and Bella, they were all fired. Bella is a non-factor. She didn't do tattoos. Nobody really cared for her. She was a drunk to begin with. Um, Lily, I'm glad to see Lily is gone. I hope they don't do no mess where they bring her back and all. No, leave her wherever the hell she is. Leave her there. Charmaine and Van. Now I'll be honest with y'all. I did not think Van was really gonna be gone. I thought they were gonna find a way to bring Van and Charmaine back somehow, some way. But it seems like Charmaine is back. Van is not. Now, Charmaine has started her own tattoo shop called Second City Ink. She said that she has invested her money into this, that she feels like she learned enough about the industry by working in the industry these last 5 or 6 years that she can bring her talent to starting her own shop. She linked up with a tattoo artist, Jess, who actually was supposed to be on Black Ink, do some guest work on Black Ink. It never quite worked out, but she's from London, and her and Charmaine hooked up to start this tattoo shop. Now, I wrote their names down. Y'all know I'm not gonna remember nobody's name, but I wrote their names down. We have Drea. Drea's from New York. Drea used to she's a hustler. She said she been on her own since she was 16 and she did a little bit of everything. Y'all fill in the blanks. We have Prince. Prince is from Chicago. We have Zach. Zach is also from Chicago, I believe. We have Guy or Gary. Can't read my own handwriting. He's from Ohio. Now him and Dre got a little thing going on. We'll get to that in a second. And then we have Plug. Plug is from Michigan. Plug is also um, a gay young man who is very, very comfortable in his skin and very much I don't know look, y'all. I don't know the right term, so I don't want nobody to call me out saying the wrong thing. But we saw, he wears makeup. We saw times when he had on a skirt. We saw times when, so he's very comfortable in that. As I'll say, okay. So that's who is over at the new shop, Second City Inc. Now over to the old shop, Don and Four still there. Don said things are great. He said this shop is running the way a business should run. He's happy to see how things are going. Four, four is four, honey. Four is single. He's not hanging out with the body lady anymore. He said that he is just enjoying his life and learning and being free. And he was a little bit too free because he got picked up. He had just gotten arrested a couple of days earlier for indecent exposure, and come to find out he was getting head in the car. Police officer wasn't appreciative of the act, and he got arrested. Okay, four, living your best life. So Ryan, on his personal life, he is out of the house. It sounds like him and Rachel then fell out again. Because if you remember at the end of last season, him and Rachel weren't together, but they were real comfortable with each other. When they went to Atlanta, when they went to Miami, Rachel was there. They stayed in the same room. So the insinuation is that I picked up from that was we are not a couple, but we are still trying to work this out. You know what I mean? But it sounds like he said things have gotten really bad between the two of them, that, things are very tense between them, and he is no longer in the home, and they are basically just co parenting. Now, Rachel has 2 sons. Ryan is the father of one, but he claims the other one because he basically helped raise the other one. But we see he picks his son up from school. He spends that time with him, and then And then we find out that Rachel's nail shop. Rachel started her nail company, but it was an online business. So she's actually created a brick and mortar, which is in the same building as the new Nine Mag. Remember, the new Nine Mag was in the same building as the old Nine Mag. This sounds like it's a really big building. It's probably one of those old, like back in the day factories from back in the day that they've converted, whatever. So they're all right there in the same building together. He said that makes it very convenient for them to co-parent. Things aren't really going that well with the co-parenting, but we'll get to that too. So, all right. So Charmaine is in charge of the business side of the ink shop, and Jess is in charge of the creative side because she is a tattoo artist. Because that's one of the things that Ryan said he had an issue with. Now to Charmaine's credit, Charmaine did go to Ryan and let Ryan know that she was starting this tattoo shop, and just basically sort of letting him know that that's how things were rolling. He he laughed about it. Ryan, y'all know how Ryan is. Ryan thought it was a joke, but he said, I don't really have a whole lot of I really have a problem with non-artists starting shops. And I can see where he's coming from because I know people have that same issue with um um people who do hair and things like that owning a hair shop but don't have a hair license. Now I know in this area at one point in time, and don't quote me on that. I don't know all the specifics, but I know my aunt at one point in time was an investor in a hair salon, and I know that on the paperwork there has to be somebody on the paperwork that actually has a license. So I don't know, and this was a long time ago. This when I was a kid. Um, so I don't know what the law is now, but I know that there is at one point in time in this area, you did have to have somebody on the paperwork that did actually have a cosmetology license because my aunt didn't have one, but she was like half, she was part owner of the shop, but the other lady was a cosmetologist. Anyway, now what Charmaine is saying is like, look, I've been using all my contacts, I've been reaching out to everybody, anybody, and whoever to try and help me get Non-Mag. I mean, ooh, I said Non-Mag. Second City on the map because, honey, they had 106 followers on Instagram, and that's another reason why Ryan was giving them the side eye, like, mm. But she was able to secure an interview with Rolling Out magazine. Now, Rolling Out is a known magazine, and they've also been very, in the past, um, been very supportive of Nine Mag. And so Charmaine was able to probably call some people and some contacts that she made and get an interview with them. And so they came into the shop and they did an interview with them at the shop. And then they said they were having this party where they would, basically highlight Second City, and the party was gonna be for, local tattoo artists or what have you, but they were gonna be like the featured shop of this particular party. Um so they went on and I'm trying to. What happened was because this is what happened, y'all. They showed two episodes at one time, so I want to make sure I'm overlapping to the second episode. So anyway, because I think I'm gonna do two videos. We'll see. I might end up doing one video, but we'll see. So they get to the party, and of course they're having their life. They're getting their life. They're taking pictures of them. They got the big blow up pictures of them all over the shop or whatever. And of course, Charmaine is very proud of herself, as she should be. And then here come the Nine Mag folks showing up. They thought it was just a regular rolling out party. They get there and realize, oh, wait a minute, this is not just a regular rolling out party. Charmaine and her crew are like this is their party. Like, is it their grand opening or something? And the non-mag folks, they kind of roll with it. It was just Don, Ford, and Ryan. If anybody else showed up, they didn't really, check them like that. And they rolled with it. They were like, okay, it's whatever. It is what it is. And then Charmaine came over there. And here's the thing, Charmaine, and I get it. It's reality. You used to doing a lot for the camera, but you're a business owner now, and you can't jump to the bait every time. Like, you can't every time there's an issue, jump on it. But she basically let them know how disrespected she felt by how the whole situation went last year, and how she felt like they did not have her back, and how she felt like, her getting fired was really a big mistake, and that it had turned into a very toxic environment, a very masculine environment, and that she just didn't, she didn't feel like they treated her the way she should have been treated. And they pretty much let her say what she had to say. I think at one point Dawn did try to talk to her. She was like, "No, Dawn, no, no, no. I don't want to shake your hand. I mean, I don't want to hold your hand. Whatever. Like, I feel some kind of way." And I'm not saying she doesn't have a right to feel that way. The way things went down was kind of messed up. But I'm not. I feel like they chose Lily over her more so than it would be in a boys' club. I just felt like they chose Lily over her. And Ron's reason for choosing Lily over her was because Lily actually was a tattoo artist. Okay. So Ryan though he had some issue because Ryan was saying how he felt like it took him 10 years to build his brand and to get where he is now. And he feels like Charmaine is sort of just walking in the door and sort of it's kind of being given to her and she's not having to pay the dues he had to pay. I see where you're coming from, Ryan, and your point is valid. But on the flip side, I would say this: Charmaine would be a damn fool if she was on a platform like this for 6 years and did not find a way to parlay it into something for her. And yes, you opened a lot of the doors that she's walking through now on any level, whether it be the radio show, whether it be the her still being on this show. Because let's be clear, y'all. We know that a lot of this is storyline. All right, let's just be clear. A lot of this is the damn storyline. Well, we're gonna pretend like we believe that all of this is what it is. We're gonna go along with it. But she would be a damn fool to not take advantage of the doors you open for her. And yes, she doesn't have to pay the same dues you had to pay. But unfortunately in life, somebody got to be first. And when whoever's first that comes through the door, everybody that comes behind them, his life is going to be a lot easier. You know what I mean? For everybody, the life is going to be a lot easier. So I see where you're coming from, Ryan. But the flip side of that's what it is. You open that door, you gave her the opportunity, and she would be a fool to sit back and do a woe is me and not take advantage of what was given to her. So whatever she worked out with Big Fish Entertainment, however she worked out that she's still on this show, and whatever it is that she's gonna do on this show, big ups to you, Charmaine. That was a boss move. Now, Don and Ashley. Don and Ashley, life is great for them. They did move into a new house. They didn't get that $3-4 million house they was looking at last season, but they did get a new house. He said things are great between them. That it's never been better. That everything is everything. And if you've been following, and I know a lot of, but Danielle looks good, honey. She done lost some weight. She's looking really really nice. But in this episode, she had a breast cancer scare. And as a woman, let me tell you something. And I can't speak for men because I know men have their own burdens to bear. But as a woman, one of the biggest fears in the world is doing a self exam or even just something as simple as washing, taking a shower and feeling a lump. And then having to go to the doctor and go through that whole process of them trying to find out is it cancerous or not. And she went to the doctor. Don was with her, held her hand through the whole thing. He was nervous. She was nervous. And he was like, I'm trying to be strong for her, and there's really nothing I can do. And that makes me feel bad because there's nothing I can do. And it does make you feel somewhat helpless in a situation like that because there isn't anything you can do. All you can do, but Don, you did the best you could do. You were there for her. You supported her. And baby, I can't be mad about that. But the good news is that the biopsy came back. I always get benign. I always get it mixed up, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. But she didn't have cancer, and so definitely a weight off your shoulders. Definitely a clear slate. Ryan is having a problem balancing dad and work. His work consumes so much of his time and so much that when he does have his son after school in the evenings, a lot of times, he said he picks him up from school, he takes him to dinner, then they go back to the shop. And it's homework time and that kind of thing. But a lot of times he gets pulled away because it's always something that needs his attention at the shop. And so that's when we see that him and Rachel are sort of kind of button heads a little bit on being being a co-parent with that after school situation. He went to go take the son to Rachel upstairs at the other shop, and Rachel just was, giving him a hard time about it. But I understand where Rachel's coming from too, because Rachel said, so basically, you bringing him up here because what you're trying to say is what I have going on up here isn't as important as what you have going on down at your shop. I see her point, but again, I'm gonna say too, um, y'all just got to figure out a way to make it work. Y'all are both business owners, and the thing about being an entrepreneur and being a business owner is that there is no 9 to 5 to that. There's no 9 to 5. You can't tell the boss no because you are the boss. And so I think both of them are going to have to be a little bit more flexible in making sure that they're trying to keep their world, their routine as normal as possible for the son. Both of y'all are sitting right there in the same daggone building. And I mean, I know it's Chicago and everything, but if it's a secure building, I mean, he should be able to float between both businesses without it being an issue. He's 12. He's in junior high school. He's 12 years old. He's not 5. He should be able to go up and down the steps or the elevator to both parents' businesses at will, as long as he lets them know where he's going. I don't know. I don't. I feel like it was too much in my mind. Some coddling going on with that situation. And again, I don't know if that was for the purposes of the storyline or if it was real, real. Um, I think that pretty much covered episode 1. I want to make sure. I mean, there's one little thing I do want to touch on, but I think that I covered pretty much all of what happened with episode 1. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me make sure I got episode 1 covered, honey. Hmm. We'll talk about Charmaine and Meek, but I believe that was the next episode. So, last but not least of this episode, we saw Ryan. Basically, Ryan is living in the shop. He said he got put out the house and he thought they'd be able to work things out. So, he didn't want to sign a long term lease on something and then be right back in the house after they worked it out. Then, he was doing a lot of traveling for work. So, again, he didn't want to sign a long term lease somewhere because, he wasn't going to be there half the time. He said, 1 week turned into 3 weeks. He said, and basically now the last couple of months, he's been living in the shop. He said, I spend most of my time here anyway. Now, at the end of the day, I think we will all agree that Ryan can afford his own place. I do not think that it has anything to do with finances. I think it's exactly what he said. Like, I'm here all day, every day anyway. I'm traveling half the time. When I'm not traveling, I'm living here. Basically, first one here, last one to leave. And, I don't want to put money into an apartment because I do think in the back of his mind, he's waiting to work things out with Rachel. And I think they've done this back and forth yo yo so many times that he's been down this road before. He probably has ended up with a lease or having to break a lease because he done went and got his own place and then him and Rachel got back together. And so I think that part of that is wishful thinking too. Like, we're gonna work this out. So, I don't need to invest in this and we're gonna be back together. So, you know, they made it seem like on the blogs and stuff, they made it like Ryan Henry's homeless. No, he's not. He's living in his shop that he probably paid good damn money for every month. But at the end of the day, I think that his hesitation is because he's not really ready to accept that him and Rachel are done. Like getting um getting a apartment, signing a lease, there's some finality to that. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments, please.